What's up, my lovely shit noodles? How you doing? I hope you're doing good. Anyways, right? You saw the title. You know what we're here for. Let me tell you why we're here for it. So, I didn't think of doing this testing, but a day ago, right? We had like a fucking patch that was like it's a bug fix, right? It's a bug fix. So it was this one, yeah. So it was this one, right? And I'll tell you this much. Honestly, I don't think it was that much of a change what they did, right? Like basically they kind of fixed SEO's A4 and A5, right? Not many changes, to be honest. The A5 is really big because the critical rate wasn't applying properly on her skills, right? So it was, from what I understanding, it's like it was going under the 50% that you build from your items, when it in fact it should have gone above it. So she was actually basically, she didn't have her 5th advancement, right? And for her 4th one, they just basically buffed it so it works with gems, right? Now, I honestly didn't think that it's a big difference, right? But I kind of thought of testing my SEO, comparing her to Cha on damage and all that shit, because I'll be honest, my SEO and Cha, respectively to what stats they're scaled with, right? They're both built very equally, and both are probably just as strong as the other, right? So I did some testing, right? So let me get into the setup. Okay, so boys, I was hyping you up. And I was hyping you up for a reason, right? Because to me, this shit was a surprise as well. So let me just get into the setup, what I'm gonna use, right? So I'm gonna be comparing Cha and SEO, right? Technically, Alicia and SEO might be more of a comparison, but I can't really compare them because, not really equal right now. It needs some work. Unless I use the, like, obviously I could scale her up to A4, but I have some plans for that. So 109 versus 122k, right? She has level 100 weapon, 5 advancements. She has level 60, 0 advancements. You may say it's not fair. Technically, it's not, but at the same time, it kind of is. Obviously, if you want to see the difference between the weapon, 102k without the weapon, 101k without the weapon. So, as you can see, the weapon is doing like a 20k fucking difference here, more or less. But this is like, this is kind of the setup. I can't use them on the same set, unfortunately. Well, I have them sort of at the same set, but I mean the stats, right? Because Cha is an attack scaler. I have her at 50%, 180, 15k attack. SEO is nearly 31k HP, with 50% and 170% crit damage, right? So I'm gonna compare them, and we'll see just how massive it is. Just so you know, unfortunately, I didn't test this before the patch, but SEO was basically 30 seconds slower than what you will see in like in the testing, and it's insane in my opinion. Okay, boys, so I finished with the testing, right? You won't see all the videos of the testing. I'm just gonna, in the background while I'm talking, I'm gonna play the best runs from the testing, right? Also, I'll post the screen from the Excel sheet to the side, right? So you can see exactly what I'm talking about, like the numbers and the runs and whatnot. Also, I'll talk about the setup for each of these, right? So I did 5 tests, so it was like 50 runs total. Yikes, right? So you're basically gonna see just, well, technically you're gonna see 10 runs, right? If you want, if you're not happy with it, right, I can do an extended version video where I post every single run I did, because I do have them saved, right? So let's just get into it, right? So SEO versus Cha, right? First test was basically just my setup was the character, their weapon, and then I had Min in the team as well as the shadows, with Igris being the leader, right? So that brought the power. As you can see, Cha's team's total power was obviously 20k higher because Cha's power is 20k higher, okay? So this one was interesting because the difference was like basically more or less 3 seconds, except for one case, and that was Cha had a slower time in the case of where I missed her E. So as you know, the bear has like an invincibility phase. During that invincibility phase, right, you can't deal damage. I think the invincibility phase is like 3 seconds long, some shit like that, right? And during those 3 seconds, the bear just doesn't take damage. And honestly, anything at like 230, right, in a single character test, I consider that basically a one-shot. So it's not very relevant, right? But we can see how well we did because basically SEO was keeping up with those one-shots, right? And keep in mind, Cha excels at one-shotting characters. She's not a sustained damage dealer, she's a one-shot character. So being even this close as a sustained damage dealer, to me, is fucking shocking, okay? Obviously, in this comparison, ultimates were not really involved. I think SEO got her ultimates off, but Cha couldn't get her ultimates off. So, as you can see, I was basically comparing Cha A3 versus SEO A5 at that point, right? Next comparison, right, is a raw comparison. So, basically, it was just SEO and her weapon and versus Cha and her weapon. As you can see, Cha still has the advantage. So this one had a lot of discrepancies, right? SEO overall did slower. She took like 20 seconds longer to kill the bear. The reason for that is because she was under recommended power. So the bear has 153k recommended power. And the thing is, in this game, if you're below recommended power, it doesn't mean that it's not actually red. You still get some stat reduction. It's not as bad as if you're in the red, because in the red, you like get a very hard stat reduction. In the white, right, you get like some percents removed, but that was enough for SEO to start missing crits. That was completely enough for her to stop missing crits, and that's where the fucking difference was. So obviously, I feel like in this run, Cha's weapon was really carrying her, because SEO's weapon, I mean, A0 level 60 versus level 100 A5, you know, not really a fair comparison. So results are kind of expected, but I wanted to keep doing tests, so I went to the third category, which was Equalized total power. That's because I realized that, you know, SEO is kind of well under recommended power, so I thought that's unfair. So we went with Equalized total power. So now the way I went about this, right, is I stuffed shit in that didn't affect their combat capabilities, but erased their total power to push them over recommended. So in SEO's case, I did Blade plus Tank plus Kim Sang-shik, right? As you know, Kim Sang-shik is like an SR character, right? He has no synergies, right? So he didn't affect it. He gave 13k total power, enough to raise it to 168. On Cha's side, I did Tank and Blade. I wrote it as Blade plus Tank, but it was Tank and Blade, so it didn't affect Cha's combat capabilities. It didn't increase her attack. And these were very interesting results, because if you see the first 3 runs, they were identical. That is honestly fucking crazy. That is crazy that they were identical, because I was still using their weapons. I was using Cha's level 100 A5 weapon versus SEO's level 60 A0 weapon. And their times were basically identical. At the last runs, there was kind of like a pullback, so the average for Cha ended up being higher. And so I went with another category, because I thought, you know, the weapons, like I wanted to test it completely without the weapons, because I thought the weapons are giving me like an edge one over the other. So the weapons made it even more interesting, because now like SEO actually became slightly stronger. By slightly stronger, I mean by 1k, because, you know, my SEO is actually A6, not A5. Honestly, I don't feel like, unless you have a character at A5, I don't think like the percentages you get are that big. Like A5 and A6 are basically identical, but because I know some of you are gonna say that it's unfair, I'll just say that, you know, I'll give the 3 seconds for fucking 3%, right? Obviously, that's unfair. 3% will not earn you 3 seconds on the run. I'll just put it this way, but I'll do it for you just so you know, right? So the total average, like for SEO in these runs was like, I think 215, I think something like that, and for Cha it was 214. So give her that plus 3 seconds, and you suddenly have, you know, 3 seconds better run. So woohoo, Cha won slightly, right? Honestly, I feel like that's an L for Cha, because she's competing with a breaker and she's coming out equally. Now these were no longer one-shot runs. These were actually semi-endurance runs, and as you know, Cha doesn't perform well in endurance runs. She prefers using her skills and getting switched out to maximize her burst potential. That's why people have started running her on champion Behemoth, right? Because she's better as a burster and not as a sustained damage dealer. And then, like with this one being equal, I thought, well, damn, okay, let's try this, right? under recommended power. So this was the last test I did. This one had the most interesting results because I didn't use their weapons. I didn't use any extra teammates. It was literally just SEO versus Sha, 132k versus 131k. Now, if I didn't have SEO A6, it would have been 131k versus 131k, okay? So it would have been completely equal. So she got a 3% HP advantage. Funny thing about it is, right, even with the marginal error increase, like of 3 seconds, it wouldn't have made any fucking difference. Like honestly, in this test, SEO destroyed Sha. This was, albeit, this was an endurance run. And as you can see, like 160 seconds and 112 seconds is runs where I was struggling with crits and I actually ran out of mana. So those were super fucking slow runs. And on SEO, right, you see 128 run. In that run, I actually missed a fucking ultimate. So I lost a lot of damage as well. But even then, right, if you look at the 5 runs, right, let's say Cha's best times were like over 130, right? Like, okay, her best time was 135. Seo's best time was 149. That's still a massive fucking like clap. Like, that's insane. Like, that difference is insane. Like Seo shouldn't have performed that well because keep in mind, right, Cha is a damage dealer. Seo is like a breaker, right? Technically, Seo is like a sub damage dealer. She's not really supposed to do that much damage, but she was just, you know, she just like in the last test she destroyed it, and she kept consistent in pretty much every test, which I think is insane. Unfortunately, I couldn't test, you know, them under completely equal conditions because, as I said, right, one is an HP scaler. I'm not sure if I said it. Doesn't matter, right? One is an HP scaler, the other one is an attack scaler, right? And, you know, attack and HP are not backwards compatible. They have different scaling stats, shit like that, right? The only thing you can really compare them on is crit and crit damage. So, I don't know. Take from this what you will. I mean, I didn't really need proving to know that Seo is really good, but I didn't know that she was quite this good. I didn't think she was on the same level as Sha, but honestly, I feel like she is on the same level as Sha now. So, yeah. I hope you enjoy that. As I said, if you're unhappy and you think that I'm making these numbers up, I have all of the runs available, right? Like, I can upload it as an extended version. Just, you know, give me a shout in the comments. Not a problem on my side. You can analyze them yourself. You can say how shit I played or, you know, whatever happened. And yeah, that's it. Next time I'm actually planning to do more of these comparison runs. Next time I'm planning to test well, I'm gonna do a lot of Alicia tests moving forward because I got her I got 6 copies of her now, so I'm gonna be testing her on different levels compared to other damage dealers at the same star levels, and, you know, we'll see what we get. So until then, right, I hope you have a good morning, good day, good night, you know, whatever you're having. I hope you have a good one, and see you next time.